he can dissipate in 3 to 4 minutes. And that's what we saw. As you mentioned, you're down 15, and all of a sudden, in a span of 12 minutes, you're up 14. When you go 15 or 22 in the fourth quarter, that's 68%. 9 of 12 from the three, that's 75%. You only shot 1 free throw. You got 11 rebounds. Skip, they had 12 assists. So the ball was moving. The ball, like they say, the ball has energy. The ball was moving. And what do you do? Because, Skip, if you think about the first half, the Celtics are like, man, we letting Steph shoot these walk-up. We let him shoot free throw threes. They weren't showing. Then all of a sudden in the second half, they started showing a little more. Robert Williams started showing. Al Horford started showing.
I actually thought the key was that Derek White started taking Steph far more than Marcus Smart did.
He did.
Derek White can flat move his feet.
Yes. And Skip, and I thought a lot of times they was like, look, if the guy that's coming, if Steph Curry's got whoever coming to set the screen, if you go with Steph. And it was like, Skip, they were leaving like, oh, I thought you, and I made Douglas looking at him like, bro, we went over this. But Skip, if you gonna tell me if Boss just gonna shoot the ball like this, you know it's gonna be a sweep. I don't believe they can shoot the ball like this.
I don't either.
But you believe Jason Tatum's going to go another 3 of 17? Because he played bad and they still won by double digits.
Grant Williams scored 0 and they still won by double digits? Are you kidding me? Marcus Smart got benched for the first,
8, 9 minutes of the ball game.
9 minutes of the fourth quarter.
Yes.
In favor of Peyton Pritchard? Really?
Yep.
And you still won by double digits? You're kidding me. Okay, now for the guts of the issue. To me, this game from start to finish was all about effing Stephen. I have made the case to you again and again, and I should have listened more closely to myself. On the biggest stage, in the biggest moments, he displays no clutch gene. He disappeared in games 5, 6, and 7 of the 2016 finals when they were up 3-1 over yours and LeBron's and Kyrie's Cavaliers, up 3-1 with 2 of the last 3 in Steph's house. He shrank and he disappeared. Against Toronto in the 2019 finals, games 3, 4, 5, and 6, he shrank and disappeared from the three-point line and shot a grand total of 33% as a career 43% three-point shooter who revolutionized the game against Toronto. And he missed the walk-off shot that could have forced a Game 7 in a closeout Game 6 in his building against Toronto. That's that guy. So what do I see? I see that the greatest shooter ever is the greatest until the stakes are highest, and then he's nowhere near the greatest. So last night boiled down to me to this. These are the facts of last night. Steph made 6 of his first 7 threes. As you say, you won't find a human who can get much hotter than that,
right,
especially on this stage in a Game 1. 6 of his first 7. It culminated with a 3 with 26 seconds left in the first quarter. From that point on, he missed 6 of his next 7. So he was 1 for his last 7 after that. So all that onslaught came in the first quarter. And then the rest of the way, he made only 1 3, and that came with 9:33 left in the third quarter to give them a 4-point lead, only a 4-point lead.
Right.
So the point was, I credit Boston hugely because they're the one team not impressed with all of his showboating and hot dogging and mouth guard wagging out of his mouth and I'm going to put you to sleep. All the antics that go with Steph Curry's threes, they're not impressed.
Right.
They're not overwhelmed. They're not intimidated.
Yes.
They're not shrinking and quitting because they say he's just too great. They just shrugged and went on. And I loved what Al Horford said after the game. It wasn't our best game, but we just continued to fight.
Right.
That's what that team's about. They just kept saying, fight.
Sometimes you got to weather the storm.
Just fight. Just fight because it's a long game and it's a hard game and we do defend at a high level and maybe we'll wear them down and out.
Right.
And slowly but surely, they wore them down and out. So could we demonstrate the difference in first quarter Steph and then late game Steph from last night? Can we first start with his onslaught in the first quarter? Because this is some magic.
Yeah.
Is what this is. If we could see
This was some bull-jive defense by the Celtics.
You can make a case.
Come on, Skip.
Early Steph. So he's going to make 6 of his first 7.
What is this?
I have no idea what that was. That is a total breakdown on the greatest shooter ever. That's a little bit of a breakdown. and that's decent defense, but no.
I mean, but that's look at this. Come on.
Anybody home? Steph's home. He's at home. And then here he goes.
Tice, you got to show. You can't sink in the
jump. You got to jump on him. And he's shaking his head and he's shimmying, and here we go. And I had 2 cases on the home team, and I'm thinking, I love game 1, Steph. I don't always love game 6 or 7, Steph, but I'm thinking game 1, I think I'm sitting pretty here, right?
You definitely thought you were sitting pretty with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter by 15.
I was sitting pretty. Okay, so now could we see what happened down the stretch to Golden State? Not to Boston, but to Golden State, because at 6:05, we're going to see Steph make what turned out to be his last shot of the game. Okay. If we could see this, and then here comes the Warriors' possessions. He goes
up and under on D. White.
Okay, yeah. So that's a little up and under, and that's going to be it for him, because here he goes, and he misses. And here we go with another possession, and Draymond is going to turn it over. Can't do that, Draymond. Draymond had a horrible game to me. Can't shoot threes, Draymond. I don't even know why you try. You just give it up. And
he was 2 of 12, Skip, and you can live with him being.
Steph with his lone 3 late in the game, and it's up and short. And then Draymond goes to the free throw line, and you got a chance. You got a prayer.
He missed both of them.
And he bricks both of them. And then here we go. Steph and Wiggins is going to try one, and that's way long. And then who's left? Here we go. It is, Draymond just yanks on Jason Tatum's jersey and gets an offensive foul. Okay, way to go. And then Steph misses another
Mr. Bunny, yeah.
And here we go. And then this is the last one. This is all they got was the run-out layup, the full-court pass from Steph to Clay. That was the first basket they had scored since 6:05 was left in the game. And here's what was happening in those possessions.
Yeah.
Draymond's turnover. Well, let's start with Steph's, the little up and under. That put them up 3. So they're up 3 with 6:05 to go.
Right.
And then Steph misses a little 10-footer that would have tied the game. That kept the game tied, so it would have put them ahead. Then Draymond's turnover kept it down 3. Draymond's missed 3, which was just a dumb idea, kept it down 6. Steph misses a 3. It's still a 6-point game. Then Draymond goes brick at the free throw line. You're still down 8. Then Wiggins missed a 3. You're still down 11. Then Draymond has the jersey grab offensive foul. You're down 11. Then Steph misses the little bunny layup, and you're down 14. And finally, you get the Clay run out that cuts it all the way back to 12 with 109 left. Well, and I know it's done. It's over. And then I told you, Bielitsa made a meaningless late 3.
Right.
And if you don't give them that, the score is going to be 40-13 in the fourth quarter. Right. Instead, it was 40-16.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Skip, I think over the course of the game, we saw just how good. And I think everybody knows after what they did to the Nets, what they did to Milwaukee, what they did to Miami, I think everybody thought that Boston had a very good team. I just think too much was made of the experience. All they talked about, nobody on the Boston team had finals experience. Everybody, and you look at the Warriors, and as Mike Tyson told me on my podcast, he said, you got to be careful when you're playing or going up against someone with inexperience. He said, because they don't know. They're just dumb enough and young enough to know they're not supposed to whip your ass.
That is correct.
And that's what happened with Boston. Didn't know any better. They didn't know they were supposed to tuck their tails and run away once they got down 15. What did they do? They stood and fought. And so now they gave themselves at least a chance because they started making some plays. And you could see the confidence start to rise when JB started doing what he was doing. And then when Derek White, hit that shot in Steph's face, you said it was contested. You saw Steph's shoulders.
What?
It's over.
He did to Steph what Steph does.
Exactly. So Skip, that's what I saw, because teams can make up these deficits with that 3-point shot. And if somebody goes make their first 7, Skip, what are you thinking? Okay, yeah, they can't do another one like that. It's like 1, 2, 3, 7. You make 7 of your first 9, and how many shots did they make consecutive? Forget that. Even Al started putting it on the floor and hitting the mid-range. And so, Skip, it's over. And it's just like, and I know what they said after the game, and I know it's just one game, but it wasn't just one game. It was the manner and the fashion in which you lost that game. Skip, if it was a nip-and-tuck ball game for the entirety of the ball game, I could say, you know what, they made a few more plays than we did. You had a 15-point lead. You had that game in control. And when you have games in control in finals, the Warriors turn the lights out of the building. The Boston, every time they turn the lights out, the Celtics turn them back on.
You think it's sweep?
I don't think it's going to be a sweep, but I think the Warriors realize This is not going to be. Everybody was, oh, well, the Warriors and Steph and Clay, they've been there. Skip, I like Boston, but the most important game in the history of the Warriors since this group been together is going to be game 2.
It will be. But I'm going to remind you about these Warriors. The reason I picked Memphis to beat them was I thought Memphis was just younger, healthier, quicker, more athletic, and just had more momentum. And what happened? They were very fortunate was Golden State to dodge all those, right?
They did,
right?
yeah.
And remember.
And then you get the Mavs to knock off Phoenix.
But remember, in Game 5 against Memphis, this team trailed by 55 points. And I told you, that's just a bad sign for a team that a lot of people had just rubber stamped as, well, they're back. You know, they're on the roll. They're going to win the whole thing this year and be right back in dynastic business, right?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't dynastic to me to trail by 55 points. And then they were very fortunate, obviously, that Dylan Brooks got suspended effectively for 2 games and that John Morant couldn't play the last 3 with his bad knee, okay?
Skip, I don't care what anybody tells you. People do not fear the Warriors like they once did. You see, in the beginning, you could beat the Warriors. When Kevin Durant made them unbeatable. There is no way you're beating that team in 4 games. You're not beating them 4 times. You might beat them once. You might can get 2.
I agree.
But you're not getting 4 games. This team is very beatable. And the Boston Celtics says, you know what? It's kind of like the Predator, Skip. When Arnold Schwarzenegger said we cut him.